Okay, so if everyone has the Safari app, that would be very helpful.
Safari app. Yeah.
Yep.
Let me know if you want more, like water, because
Okay, water.
I go through waters like. Dog, are you serious right now?
You have like your car?
Okay, so if you have the Safari app, we're going to use that as to pull up the Haggadah as we go through it, and we'll try to in the next, I guess, 45 minutes or so get as prepared, ask some questions and stuff like that. I want to start off by saying that most people don't enjoy a lot of aspects of Judaism, or not even forget about enjoyment, but really have the real experience because they allow the holidays to happen upon them, and sure.
You ask me for water, please do it.
No, there's actually no water available tonight, believe it or not, but cool. So a lot of people allow the holidays to happen upon themselves, as opposed to the way that it should be, which is we are supposed to go into a holiday with fire, and supposed to go into a holiday sort of ready to conquer it. And especially with Pesach and the Pesach Seder, which is such an incredible Jewish experience, and really it's an experience, that would be just a totally missed opportunity. As the halacha is that really after, they say 30 days before a specific Yom Tov, you wanna go grab ketchup?
Yeah, I got you.
For the fries. 30, here's some egg rolls. This here for now.
Thank you.
And some slaw. 30 days before the holiday, a person's already supposed to prepare themselves and starting to learn different halachos and get themselves ready for the Yom Tov. So 30 days before Pesach is Matzei Purim. At the end of Purim, a person right away is supposed to start to learn aspects of Pesach to get themselves ready and prepared before Pesach comes about them. Because it's coming one way or the other, and that's the thing. Is it meeting you, or are you meeting it? Ultimately, this week, and this is something that's so important, the concept of hasmada, of preparation. To prepare oneself, there's so many aspects that we see in Judaism about preparation and getting yourself in the right frame and the right state of mind before going into whatever it is that we're going into. You see this on a small level before Shemona Esrei. Right? What does it mean when we say Hashem Savasai Titoch Pi Agiti Lasecha? What is that process? That process of sort of exiting the realm in which you're in and mentally preparing yourself before entering into a different realm. That little aspect of just psyching yourself out. What is a pump-up speech before a person hits the field? It is a moment to stop and say, what I'm about to do is important, what I'm about to do is significant. And that's what preparation in Judaism as a concept is, and that's what we need to do before Pesach as well. We have this, we say, Haranim as Amen. There's this, the Chassidim added this, this phraseology, say, before doing specific mitzvahs to get ourselves just in the right state of mind, the right frame of mind. And that's going to be something really important from now, which is Thursday. Pesach is going to be starting Motzei Shabbos of next week. So this entire week, right, what we need to do is, the first thing is we need to make a list. We need to make a list of all the things that need to be done in preparation for Pesach. And each day, make sure that not a day goes by, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that you're doing something l'kavod Pesach, that you're doing something, you're putting in physical and mental effort to prepare yourself for the holiday. And then what will happen when you're doing it, and you do it with the proper state of mind and with the right mindset, you start to get excited. You start anticipate and get excited for the Yom Tov to come. And that will change the dynamics of how you sit at a Pesach Seder. Rather than like, oh, that's tonight. You don't want that. You want like, it's in 4 days, in 3 days, I'm so excited. When I sit down, I have what to say. I understand each step of the Seder. I know what I'm doing, right? From a bird's eye view, I understand what the gravity of what it is that I'm doing here. It gets very, very, very exciting. So as we go through the different things that we have to do in preparation, and when Pesach actually starts, that's going to be really the homework. Is next week, every single day, make sure you make your list. Here's what I'm doing. It could be, I'm cleaning my car on Sunday, I'm cleaning my room on Monday, I'm doing the food shopping, I am, cleaning my house entirely, whatever it is. Every single day there needs to be some physical and mental effort that's dedicated towards the preparation of Pesach to make it special and doing it in the right way, lishma. Can you guys take food?
Wait, and or?
All right, did you eat?
What do you mean and or?
Are you hungry?
Or mental effort?
No,
or
both. As in, if you're going to clean your car, it's not just, I have to clean my car because I need to clean my car for Pesach. It's, I'm cleaning my car. I'm doing this in the merit understanding what I'm doing on cleaning, which we'll talk about in a moment, what it means to really clean your house. Here's some burgers and some.
What if you're just learning about it? Mostly.
This is the year to start. Wings.
Wings with Avi, so I don't have to use my carrot points.
No, you do actually.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't.
Do you want a burger? Some situation there.
What's that?
Okay, so let's start. Where's my paper? Does he want something? I'm gonna just grab my
I literally thought it was cleaning people.
Me too.
I was like, wait, what dog? What? The bathroom.
Listen, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's also what I said. I was like, maybe you just really have to go really badly.
Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that's going to happen that we have to get ready for is the concept of bedikas chametz. This is the searching and the eliminating of the chametz, right? Bedikas chametz, the searching of the chametz. So as you know that there's a halacha that you cannot have. It says in the Gemara, bal yira'eh and bal yirmatzeh, that a person should not find and a person should not see. Means that all chametz has to get eliminated from your house entirely. What is chametz? This is chametz. Chametz is leavened bread that has been allowed to rise. Now, yes, basically. Why is there such a stringency? You notice that well, I'll teach you something cool. It's that we have this idea called someone can be batal b'shishim. Means that let's say you're cooking a pot of meat and a drop of milk falls in. If it's under a certain amount, if it's 1/60th, you don't have to throw out the whole thing. You can actually continue to cook it and you can eat it. Why? Is because the majority can eliminate the minority when it comes to certain things in Judaism, when it comes to especially aspects of kashrus, of being kosher. But we see that with chametz, it doesn't work that way. Even the smallest drop of chametz will entirely make whatever it is that you're doing completely not okay. We need to spend our time searching and going through all of our house and all of our possessions. We are not allowed to own any chametz, which is why we sell our chametz to the shul. If anybody needs help selling their chametz, they can do it through my shul. You're more than willing, helpful to it, right? If you have chametz that has monetary value and you don't want to destroy it all, you can literally sell it, a real sales contract to a non-Jew, and then have it be bought back after.
Wait, what is considered chametz?
Chametz is anything that is would be a mazonos or a motzi, any sort of bread, pretzel, really anything. Nowadays the OU makes it very easy. If it says OUP on it, you're good. But you should, any sort of snacks and things like that, you have to get rid of it entirely. You can't have it at all. So
unless it has the P on it.
Right. I mean, you can always ask me. And there's all these apps. There's the CRC app, Star K app. There's the OU app that will really go through the list of things that are and aren't kosher for Pesach. But you're not allowed to have pleasure from it. You're not allowed to eat it. You're not allowed to drink it. You're not allowed to see it. You can't own it. It's really got to be gone.
So why would you sell bread?
Well, let's say you have tons of loaves of bread. Now you need to get rid of it. What do you do with it?
Throw it out.
You throw out all that food in the garbage. So
you could donate it.
You could donate it. You can get rid of it, right? But if you're going to take a monetary loss on it, right? If it's going to be a financial hardship for you to throw away all that bread, you can sell it. So therefore, you don't own it. It doesn't belong to you. You can put it in a certain place and sell it to a non-Jew. It belongs to the non-Jew now. And then you're just purchasing it back. If a Jew owns and maintains possession of chametz over Pesach, you're not allowed to partake in it ever. This is a big issue in Israel when non-religious shops hold on to their bars that hold on to their alcohol over Pesach. You're not allowed to go to them until they get rid of all their inventory, until it's all out of there. You can't partake in any of it. It's a really, really big deal. But most Jews take Pesach extremely serious. So what is the idea of chametz and matzah? Chametz stands for chet. Chametz stands for chet, which is sin. And matzah stands for mitzvah. And ultimately, what are we doing when we're searching for it? There is a spiritual sort of metaphor that parallels it in the same way that you're searching to get all the chametz, which stands for chet, out of your house. And so too, a person should do a cheshbon nefesh. You guys know what that means? A cheshbon nefesh is like the calculation of the soul, right? To evaluate your own life and also do a spiritual cleansing, looking in yourself and trying to remove all the chametz that exists within a person. That's when what's the kavana? The kavana means the focus, the mental intent that a person should have when they're cleaning their house. They should have the kavana with themselves to say, I'm removing all chet. I'm removing all sin from myself entirely. So the question is, if chet stands for sin, what would happen?
He probably hates the air.
If Chet stands for sin,
He doesn't like chametz on Pesach.
I know. If Chet stands for sin, then how can we have it during the year, right? Why is it just on these 8 days that we can't have chametz? So there's a beautiful answer that I want to share that for us to understand. What is the Chet? Chet is the Yetzer Hara. Now, obviously, the Yetzer Hara is very important because it's important for us to be able to grow. It's important for us to be able to challenge us so that we can grow and become the better versions of ourselves. However, the beginning of the Jewish people happened in the month of Nisan on Pesach. It was sort of the inception of the Jewish people. And just like, God forbid, if he would have gotten fever, right, in the first month or two of him being born, I'd have to run to the hospital. As opposed to us, when you get fever, you just take some Tylenol and you call it a night. Why? Is because when you're being the inception, the start of the year, the start of the Jewish people, the inception of the Jewish people, we are pure. We are very, very pure, and it's the beginning stages. In those beginning stages, you have to have an added sense of purity, an added sense of cleanliness. And you'll see one of the themes of the Pesach Seder is to increase kedusha and to remove tameh, to be impure, to remove those things from us. We want to have an elevated state of kedusha, and because this is the birth of the Jewish people, the exiting of Egypt. We want to be living on that higher level. We want to make sure that we are completely eradicating all chet to start off in the purest of ways. So when does this search happen? Now, obviously, you should be cleaning your house all week, but this year is very unique because of when it comes out. Typically, you would do it the night before Pesach, but for this year, you're going to do it on Thursday night. You're going to search your house with a candle, with a feather and a spoon. You're going to say the proper blessing, and it's customary that people hide 10 little pieces of bread throughout their house. Have you ever done this? It's a lot of fun. You search with the family, you take 10 little pieces of bread in a baggie, make sure that it can't leak crumbs anywhere, and you spread it throughout your house, and you go and you search, and you collect it in a bag. And what do you do the next following morning? Something called the bir chametz, which is the destruction of the chametz. So why do we burn it? Why can't we just throw it out in the garbage? We go out in the morning, right? This year is going to be Friday morning. We go out in the morning and we're going to burn the chametz. Now, why are we burning the chametz? Why not just throw it in the garbage pail? Wasn't food. Why burning? It sounds like it's a little bit extreme. No, it's very, very intense. Anybody?
Or maybe because you don't want to own it, like just in case you want to.
Yeah, but if you throw it in the garbage and you're just
I get it.
Some
Oh,
dog.
you throw it in the garbage and you're sort of like
I do have something if you want later on.
Ooh.
Hi, Hannah.
Wow.
Do you want to
Hi.
Yo, nice sweater,
Not
dog.
related. I don't want you to think that's weird. What's it called? So this is the idea. That's actually something that I appreciate a lot. When it comes to fighting the Yetzer Hara, when it comes to fighting the Yetzer Hara in general, the proper way to fight the Yetzer Hara is not to put him in the garbage. Why? Because it still exists. It's like taking it and saying, no, I'm removing it from me. But you can't coexist with a cancer. It needs to be completely eliminated and burned. And the way that a person is meant to fight the Yetzer Hara, if you really want to conquer your Yetzer Hara, if you really want to eliminate a negative aspect of yourself, it needs to be totally burnt and destroyed. If a person wants to move to a state of Kedusha, he cannot live with Tameh. He can't have aspects of his life that are involved with the impurity and still maintain a state of pureness. So a custom that I personally have, I go out each year to the store and I buy one of those People magazines, because I don't allow that in my house in general.
Like the cleanest one out of all.
All right, whatever. I go into the checkout aisle of Winn-Dixie and I find whichever one seems to be the juiciest. The celebrities are like us, right? They eat food. They go to the bathroom.
No, they don't.
They don't wipe themselves. Well, it depends who.
Yo,
Meghan
celebrities
Markle doesn't
don't
wipe herself.
fart.
They don't fart. So I will go in and get one of those magazines, and I will take pleasure, and I rip out each page and I throw it into the fire as well, because that's something a little bit, I think, more relatable
Isn't
for
that
us.
just like a waste of money though to buy
Not at
something
all.
just to
That's
burn?
a great investment. It's a powerful lesson. It brings me a lot of
Like
joy. And remember, I have to remind myself what we're fighting against. If we want to be truly honest, the biggest Yetzer Hara that really any of us have comes really from American society, American culture. If you evaluate your life and you say, what stems my biggest Yetzer Hara?
Was that
It
Western
comes
modernization?
from Western culture and the society in America. If you really think about it.
So basic. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just like confused because I never heard this concept before. So basically,
Oh no,
buy
that's my own personal.
Oh.
That's,
Okay.
it doesn't say in the Talmud.
It's not like
This is
that.
my
People
this
do
is
that.
my this is my personal cause because it makes it real for me. A lot of people don't connect and say, look at the bread. It stands for the chametz, which is the sin of my life. If you're on that level, then great, beautiful. But for me to make it more real, I want to be able to point with my finger and understand what it is that is seeped into my. I grew up with watching professional sports my whole life. Now I'm at a point where certain things I'm not at a stage where I can give up just yet. How did that happen? It happened because it was ingrained in a society that's taken over, and we live in it, and it's impossible really because we're in Golas to disconnect yourself 100% fully from it. But we're fighting it constantly, and that's the way that we have to fight it. So to me, it makes it more real, and I enjoy it a lot because it makes me sick the leverage and the pull that the celebrity world has on young people. It's like nauseating. Anyway, so whatever, just society they have more influence. Celebrities have more influence than any other human beings that live in this country. They are the pinnacle, the top of the top. They can sway more. Professional LeBron James can sway more people's opinion in this state than Ron DeSantis, and it's like nauseating to think of such a thing. So anyway, that's going to happen erev Pesach. Now things are a little bit funky this year because it's starting off, and I will. Rabbi Gibber does a Hilchah Shir, and if anyone wants, I could forward them. He goes through the halachas of what it is because we have Shabbos directly before Pesach, right? So you're still obligated to have meals, but you're not allowed to eat matzah. You can't eat matzah before Pesach, the month before Pesach, and Nisan especially. So there's time limits to when, right? If it's starting Motzei Shabbos, you can't eat bread at a certain point because you'll have bread in your system, and that can't be. So I can send you all those halachas if you're interested afterwards. Just message me. There's a whole 6-part series on it. You want food now? Okay, so let's get into the actual Seder. When we sit down, Motzei Shabbos. Okay, as an overview, what is the Pesach Seder? The Pesach Seder as a whole. What is the entire experience? I think there's 14 steps, 15 steps in the Seder. And what is the purpose of the entire thing? If I were to sum it up really into one sentence, the Pesach Seder experience is the experience to sit down and celebrate everything that's awesome with being a Jew. It is the celebration of Judaism and everything that encompasses it. It's a time of year that we sit down and recognize who we are as a people, lift our glass and make a bunch of l'chaims, and talk about the different aspects of what we are and who we are. But it is one of the biggest expressions of pride of all time. So if somebody's proud to be Jewish, the Pesach Seder should be the most exciting thing for them throughout the entire year. You're sitting down and you're celebrating what we are and who we are. And that's awesome. And that's part of the thing that could be the missed opportunity. If a person just shows up and why do we do the Passover Seder? Because it's tradition, because my parents did it and their parents did it. Missed opportunity, completely missed opportunity. Of all the secular Jews, and everyone does it. Secular Jews and traditional Jews, they all sit down with the Passover Seder, and it's fun, and we have the songs that we sing, and we like our Maxwell, coffee, Haggadahs, and so on and so forth, and it's just a missed opportunity. A person should get excited, right? They're designating a time, a night during the year where they're going to be sitting down to go, heck yeah, here's to the Jews. So that's where a person's mind should be. And in the prep the whole week and every single day that you're going to be doing something, while you're doing that thing, you have to keep in mind, I'm preparing, I'm leading up to something. So that when the Seder starts and you sit down, right, this is going to be the expression of all that pride. The mindset that we're supposed to have is that we're kings, that we're royalties, that we know that we are the descendants of priests, and we're God's special treasure, holy nation. We're an Am Kadosh. We're a holy nation. We're the priestly nation, and we are like kings. We are like free men. Right? What does freedom mean? We talked about this in Maimonides, the definition of freedom for a Jew versus the definition of freedom to a non-Jew. Right? Everyone believes freedom in this country. When we talk about freedom, they think, oh, it's anarchy. It means I can do whatever I want without any sort of authoritarian role on me. That's what real freedom is. The more authority there is, the less freedom I have. And that's totally the backwards and opposite of what Judaism believes in every way, shape, or form. Freedom means that we don't have any distractions, and we can focus on what our purpose is in this world. That's what freedom is. Everything is a distraction. If we need to work to make money so we can eat, that's a distraction, right? If we need to adhere to certain social norms for the countries that we're in, those are distractions, right? What was Egypt? What was slavery? It was a distraction. We were working hard for Paro, and therefore we weren't able to serve God because that was a purpose. The Jew was brought here to serve God, and that's what
Then
that's
that
what
was their
freedom is.
purpose?
What?
That was their purpose before, like during Egypt.
Well, I mean,
Like essentially, a
technically
human
not. They weren't
existed,
given
but, like,
those. But Avram had made already the pact with him.
right.
Avram was that chosen person, and they were his children essentially.
But he also said
He
to Abraham,
took
they're
them
gonna go to
out.
Egypt.
Right. He took them out of Egypt for that purpose.
Yeah.
For that purpose, we were slaves and we became slaves to God. That's what freedom is to us. It means that we are slaves to God and we're free from any sort of distraction that inhibits us to be able to serve God in the way that we should, in the way that we want to. Thank God, there's been crazy Pesach Sedarim over the millennia of people who've had Pesach Seders in crazy, crazy situations. Why? The people who've been in prisons, in camps, in the Holocaust, always had a Pesach Seder. What is freedom ultimately? Freedom, and we look at it as we're not truly free. There's still an aspect of the fact that we're still in Gullus, we're still in exile, means that we're not truly free because we still have to deal with the stupidities. We still have to deal with societal pressures, and we still have to deal with the things I got to do, and I got to go to college and all that stuff that holds us back from being able to sit and work towards godliness all day, every day. So we're not truly free, but there are elements that are free. The fact that we have free will. Free will and exercising free will is a form of freedom. And on Pesach, definitely, that a person, the free will, the energy and effort that they put into their Pesach Seder to be able to connect with God and connect with everything that it represents, that's an element of freedom as well. You can enslave a person's body, but their spirit. That's in the state that the Jewish people are in today, since we're still in Gullus. We aspire to be free in Yerushalayim with Mashiach, but until we're there are elements about us that are free. We can break free from the Yetzer Hara. We can break free from everything that makes us do whatever it is that we shouldn't be doing or pulls us in the opposite direction. We have the ability to tap into that special power of freedom over it. So we enter in as kings. We're celebrating that idea of free will. We're lifting our glass to the idea that we have the freedom to defeat our Yetzer Hara if we so choose. We are free to choose. Now, sometimes it's very difficult, granted, but we have the freedom to be able to choose to overcome our lower self whenever we want. So it's a celebration and it's a process through these 15 steps. What do we do throughout the entire, when we set it up? We have the Seder plate. The mentors made a beautiful Seder Haggadah last year, which I can send you the link to. Yeah, it's a very cool project. We talked about the different things on the Seder plate and what they represent, the different sacrifices and the different, the Carbon Pesach, which was a really cool mitzvah, which we'll get to. The 4 cups of wine. Why do we have 4 cups of wine throughout the entire night? Each cup represents a different expression that the Torah uses, that Hashem used in the Torah to promote our freedom. God used 4 different phraseologies. The number 4 is also a very powerful number. It's a reoccurring theme that we see throughout Pesach. We have the 4 cups of wine. We have the 4 questions. We have the 4 sons. Right? What is who knows 4? What knows 4? It's the 4 mothers. Why number 4? Because women are the actualization of potential. Right? They're the receivers of potential and the ones who bring it into actualization. So the number 4 is representative of actualizing potential as a whole. So we have 4 cups of wine, these 4 sayings. What are these 4 sayings? First one is V'yotzesi, that I will take you out. And then V'yitzalti, I will rescue you. V'go'alti, I will redeem you, Ge'ula. And V'lakachti, I will take you to be my special people. And each cup of wine to represent each one of these sayings, and it's supposed to build. What does wine do? Wine, drinking alcohol, and specifically has to be wine. Everything in life, that's a physical pleasure, over time it diminishes itself. Right? Everything that whether it's drugs, whether it's money, whether it's food, the very first bite is always the most exciting, and then over time it goes down. Yayin, wine, defies nature. As in, over time, the more that it ferments, the more that it becomes special, right? The more the wine is aged, the more special it is. And so too, what?
And real estate.
And real estate. Well, not always, depends on the neighborhood. But over time, right, over the Seder, we're gonna get to different levels. Each one is an independent level. And every time we drink a cup of wine, we're supposed to be progressing to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. Now, alcohol in general and wine, what is wine? Wine is an enhancer. It's something that brings out the insides of a person. It's supposed to bring out the insides of the person, and in a way, also, there is a sense of freedom, and we learned this on Purim about why is a commandment to get really drunk. Obviously, drink responsibly. I'm not condoning underage drinking for anyone out there who's listening. But what does it do? What does wine? What does alcohol do? It's an enhancer of inner emotions. It removes in some way, shape, or form a little bit of the shackles of the nervousness, the uncomfortableness. If you're nervous to say something, or you can be your true self if you're using alcohol properly. It enhances what's going on inside a person. So if a person's holding in the right area and they have the right intentionality, and if a person's rotten or a person has evil things on their mind, then when they drink, they're going to start to fight. They're going to act promiscuous, going to act in a negative way. But if a person has become this state of kedusha, then the wine is going to take them to the next level, next level, next level. And at the end of the day, l'chaim again to what we are as a people. This is the holiday of Emunah. This is a holiday of celebrating our relationship with God and our freedom and everything. So it's important for that wine. So let's start our Seder night here. We start off with, if you have the Safari app, you can follow along here. But like again, this is you should come into your Seder knowing what's going to happen, knowing what's what the experience you're going to go through, so that each step you're prepared. You have something to say on it, right? You have a perspective on it, that what it is that you're getting yourself into. So it all starts off, the very first step, the way we come out of the gate, is going to be the most important one. So Safaria, if you go into the search bar in Safaria and you just search Haggadah, you'll get to which is so funny because like who's using the Safari app at their anyway. So the very first step is, does everyone know the song? Kadesh Orchatz Karpas Yachatz? Yeah, no. Okay, another real suggestion. Next week, every day you're going to designate to do stuff. Some ideas: cleaning your room, cleaning your kitchen, getting rid of all the food in your house. Yeah, good. No, good. Whatever it is, funny.
Yeah, what's so funny?
2 is also cleaning your car, burning the comments, whatever it is. Okay, if you need help to manage with your parents, whatever. One of those things that you should do is to sit down, be nice to your sister, and sit down and open up a Haggadah. I'm serious. Open up an Haggadah and just skim through the steps of the Seder with commentary. Take an hour and a half to just look at each step, Kadesh, Urchatz, Karpas, Yachatz, Magid, Rochsa, Motzi Matzah, and just read a little bit of the commentary. Most people do this at the Seder itself. They sit down, and while the person who's leading the Seder is leading the Seder, they're looking at the commentary. Say, oh, cool, did you know? Right, don't do that. It will change your Pesach emphatically if you just do that beforehand. One day this week, right? Didn't graduate high school. So this is going to change the way that your Pesach experience is going to be. Take one day a week, Wednesday, Thursday, sit down and turn your phone off and literally, or keep your phone on to take notes and look at each step and just read a little bit of commentary as to what this step is. Art Scroll has an amazing series on Pesach, but there is no shortage of things online. You can go into Aish and do the ABCs of Pesach, get a little bit, or listen to some of the commentaries, the ideas as well. But you will get excited when you're getting to that step. When that step in the Seder comes, you're not going to be like that kid who goes, Manishtana, what is going on? What is this that we're about to experience? You'll know already. You'll be one step ahead. You'll be one on top of it. Again, exactly. Last year, I'm happy you said that. We'll come back to it. Last year, the mentors, the TJ mentors put together an entire Haggadah that has literally just a quick little page of ideas on each step of the Seder. And again, I would love to share the link with you guys if anybody wants it, to print it out before. It's really exciting. Just read it before. It's like 30 pages. It will change the way that you go into your Pesach Seder. So the very first step is Kadesh. What is Kadesh? Coming out of the gate is the most important. The mindset of how we start our Seder is so important. What is Kadesh? Kadesh is Kiddush, just like we do on Friday night. Kadesh. But what is Kiddush? From the word Kadosh, from holiness, Kedusha. What do we do every single week when we make Kiddush? We are Mekadeshing the day. So that's what Kiddush is. In the same way that, what did God do at Har Sinai? He took us and he said, Kadoshim to you, you are going to be holy. He Mekadeshed us. What is the action of Mekadeshing something? It means to make it holy. means to make it holy. When you make a bracha on something, you're makadeshing it. You are making it holy by giving it the spiritual power. You are proclaiming it. We as Jews, God infused us, really it's the only power of the Jew. God infused us with the power and the ability to make other things holy. That's what's awesome about us. We can take a plot of land, build a shul there, and we've just taken a plot of land and we've turned it into something holy. We have that power as Jews. So how does Shabbos has its holiness from God, but we Mekadesh Shabbos as well. When we make the bracha on Kiddush, what are we doing? Mekadesh Shabbos, we're making Shabbos holy. Now we do it on a cup of wine. Why? Because we know that wine is that special chashuv. It's that special, unique thing. We are going to start our Seder in the same way by Mekadeshing, by making holy what we're about to do. The men will wear their white kittel. The table is set beautifully. There's like this mystique and aura there. And what are we doing? And what?
Or a white kaftan.
Or a white kaftan. And
Not
that's
a white kaftan, a white.
sure. That's a bathrobe for you Spartan out there. And what are we doing? We are setting the stage. Now, the way that you come out of the gate is the most important. Every boy over 13 should make their own kiddush, okay? Unless your father's adamantly opposed to it. But everyone should make their kiddush. And when you're making your kiddush, you have in mind, what am I doing? I am setting the stage. I am setting the stage of holiness for the rest of the night, okay? That's the mindset in which it should be. What does it mean to be holy? The element,
I just want to learn.
the element of holiness. What is it? How do we make something holy? For those of you who have been on TJJ, you know this idea. For those of you who have not been on, you'll learn this idea. The way to make something holy is through separation. Through separation, right? When you go into a shul, there's men and women. You can't daven. You put a mechitza there. You separate. Now it's unlocked holiness. There is a separation. God separated us from the nations of the world and therefore made us holy. Separation is the key element of holiness. Intimacy, marriage is holy. When you get married, a man and a wife have to go into a separate room privately. Why? Because when they're separate from the rest of the world, that's when the holiness can take place. So what? Sure we did. The yichud room? Oh, okay. What is separate about us? What can we stop for a moment and appreciate? What are we, the Jewish people, separate from on a night like Pesach?
The rest of the world.
Thank you. The rest of the world. You know that halacha, you can't have a non-Jew at your Seder. You can't have a non-Jew come to your Seder day. Yeah.
What about someone who's converting?
Ask your local rabbi. But as a whole, you can't have a non-Jew. Why? Because this is our night. We have to recognize that we are different than every other group of people in the world. This is our night to celebrate our identity. This is our night to celebrate the fact that we have the ability to make things holy. And that's what's happening at the Pesach Seder. And that's literally what Kiddush is. We are Mekadeshing the day, the holy day, and we're starting off our Seder very, very properly. Okay, any questions on Kiddush? Okay, let's move along then to no one else wants burgers? You want one?
She's been eyeing them the whole
Yeah,
time.
seriously, there's brisket tacos, there's some French fries. I'm gonna have a fry.
She's been eyeing them.
Yeah,
Man.
that's the only reason why
want
she's
me to eat
like
a burger.
Yeah.
Mom
nuts.
really wants a burger.
Okay,
I think I'll just eat all these.
I'm telling you not.
what'd you come out here for? Came out to eat.
Am I speaking or not?
Do you want to speak?
We can sit.
If you want to. We're on step two. We're on step 2 of 15.
These are all for you. We got them all for you.
All right. Step number 2. After Kadesh. Kadesh, next step is Urchatz. Urchatz is washing of the hands without a bracha. We don't make a bracha. Now, why do we do this? There is a stricter opinion in Jewish law that a person should wash their hands before eating vegetables. Now, obviously, we don't hold this during the year. You notice that we don't wash our hands before we eat vegetables. But the word urchatz, instead of rachatz, to go and wash, ur is the vav, means and. Now, what does the word and tell you about the word that came before and?
Huh?
What is the function of the word and? What does it do?
It separates.
No, it doesn't.
Wow, that was
it
deep.
connects.
That was
It
deep.
connects. If you say something and something else, woo, boy. If you say something and then you say and, what are you doing? You are connecting the two things, right? So if it's conjunction, there you go.
Yeah, it kind of brings.
So we say urchatz, which is kiddush and wash your hands, there's a connection. Don't be that guy. Eat the whole thing.
No, there's
I'm
food.
sharing.
Oh, weak.
Sharing.
Weak
Don't worry,
sauce.
honey. I'll make you proud.
Please. We need someone to be the man around here. Okay, so what is urchatz that it's connected to Kaddish? Well, if urchatz is this custom of washing the hands before we eat, which is a stricter view that we don't even hold, it's obviously connected with this aspect of kedusha. How does someone make something holy? By elevating its status. We do extra things. We go above and beyond. Why? Because tonight is the night that we are celebrating who we are. And if we're a people of holiness, we go the extra mile on Pesach. Therefore, the ur is to connect the fact that kedusha is in kiddush and kedusha is in the washing of the hands. Moving along to karpas. Karpas is the third step of the Seder. What is karpas? Karpas is where we take a vegetable and we dip it in salt water and we make the bracha of Borei Pri Adama. We have in mind during this bracha that we're going to have maror later on in the Seder. Now, is that what? That is a panda. Khani is nickname. Her nickname is Panda. Panda bear, right? Khani. So karpas. What is karpas? So we eat the vegetable here, and ultimately, why are we doing it this way? You'll hear this a lot when you go to hear rabbis in school for little kids. They go, why? Because we want you to ask questions. Yes, the Pesach Seder is filled with weird, very strange things that we do for no other reason than we want people to ask questions. Now, why is asking questions such a big part of Judaism? Because asking questions is only allowed when there is absolute, concrete security in what's going on. In other religions, i.e. in Christianity, is famous for not being allowed to ask questions. And why? It's because they want to have this blind faith. Not a lot of things make a lot of sense. And therefore, asking questions, what does asking questions do? It unlocks the truth. It unlocks the truth. And we promote asking questions amongst our kids. We want to ask constant questions. Even if we don't know the answers, keep asking questions. Why? Because asking questions unlocks the truth. And if Judaism has that sense of security and that sense of understanding, then we promote and we want people to ask questions because it unlocks it. We're not scared. We're not insecure about what Judaism is all about. If we were, then we wouldn't promote asking questions. But we want to ask questions because it unlocks. It gets to the bottom of truth and it gives knowledge and understanding to all people. So a lot of things we do in the Seder are weird and out of order for no other reason than we just want to promote people asking questions. So karpas, why are we having vegetables at this point? We want people to ask questions. Why do we dip it in salt water specifically? Salt water commemorates what?
Tears.
Tears of who?
The Jews
The Jews who were where?
leaving Egypt.
No, they weren't crying on the way out.
Oh,
They were crying on their
tears of joy.
The tears of the Jews in Egypt who are going through back-breaking labor. Now, I always found this interesting. Why? Right, correct. Why is it that we're now having a throwback to the Jews and their tears at a point like this? So something very interesting, I learned this last year actually, that there is the word karpas, which is the vegetable, are the same letters as the word pasim. And what is pasim? Ketonas pasim was the name of the coat. Remember this? The coat that Yaakov gave to his son Yosef. Yaakov showed favoritism to one of his sons, causing the brothers to fight, causing there to be fighting amongst the brothers of Israel. And ultimately that fighting and that quarreling led to us going to Egypt in the first place. Why is karpas connected with us remembering the tears in Egypt? Because it was karpas, pasim, that coat, that got us to Egypt in the first place. It was the fact that there was fighting amongst Jews that got us to Egypt in the very, very first place. And that's the remembrance, and that's why karpas is linked to the story of Yosef's coat. After that, we get to, and here's the part where Svaria will become relevant, the fourth stage in the fourth step in the Seder. I'm sorry, before that, the fourth step is yachatz. Yachatz is the breaking of the middle matzah. We take out, there's 3 matzos under our plate. They need to be full matzos. They can't be broken. And the top one is for the Kohen, the middle one is for the Levi, and the bottom one is for the Yisrael. We're going to take out the Levi matzah. Those Levis get some chashivas over there for who they are. And they're, if you, Maimonides, we talk about how the Levis are constantly seem to always be doing the right thing. So we take out the Levi matzah, we break it in half. We take the larger half. And we put it away for the afikomen, which will come later on in the Seder. And we put the smaller middle piece back into the middle. And after Yachatz, we move on to Magid. What is Magid?
I have a question about
Yeah.
the afikomen.
Sure.
Okay, so I know in a lot of households, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just like a reform thing, but I know that in a lot of households, when kids find the afikomen, they give money or something. Is that a thing, or are you not supposed to?
No, it's definitely a thing.
I know it's a
It's
thing,
not a law. It's a custom. It's a custom that
Oh, I
people.
didn't know if it was just like
The reason why
A prize.
the reason why an afikomen present was instituted really is because it's at the later
Them
end
at
of
the table.
it's the later end of the Seder, and kids are very exhausted at that time, and it's such a crucial part of the Seder that we want to encourage the kids to stay up, to stay involved, and also get excited about finding it,
Smart.
right? Because the
Smart
person who's going to find the afikomen gets the prize, even though everyone gets that prize.
guy. You get some Rashi
That's
points,
why
right?
they brought it. That's why they brought it in, ultimately. A good question. Yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't borrow it from like any paganism or anything like that.
If I
Okay.
get the afikomen, I want 500 MC Swiley points, please.
Yeah, but how am I going to attest to whether or not you
Me.
found it?
I
You're
will
going to
be honest.
advocate for her?
I will be honest.
What about if you
What
find
do
it?
though?
If I
it's
find
not
it,
him,
then
Yeah.
it's his sister.
if I find it, then she'll. Actually, no, she won't.
Joey
No, I
knows
will.
what's going on, baby.
No, she won't.
All right.
Are you guys twins?
So we are.
He's my younger
The
brother.
time is 8:03. We're only up to Magid, and we have a whole lot more to go.
No, I'm related to him.
What do you guys want to do? You guys want to stop here? Or you want to do a little bit more? You want to? Maybe we can do a virtual night next week if you guys want to continue. What's it called? You want to do a little bit more? Or you want to stop here? Call it a night.
More. I kind of want to do more, or we could also do it on Tuesday. Kind of like start it over, I guess, and try and do all of it.
It's too much.
On Tuesday.
What? Yeah, I'm saying next week we can continue because we're only at the beginning of Magid and there's so much more. And Magid really is the time where it's a lot of the schmoozing, a lot of the actual talking of
I can go on without him.
Magid. Yeah, I'm saying it's a lot, but that's really where you have the strong questions, where you talk philosophy, where you get into different things. That's where Manish Tana happens. That's where the four sons happen. That's where. So. Okay, let's do one more little idea and then we'll call it a night. So yeah, so we start off with Magid. Oh, what version is this? Halach Ma'anya.
Okay.
Halach Ma'anya. We're talking about the poor man's bread. Next to here, right? That it's not that it's for the poor man, but rather the bread itself is considered poor, right? It's just flour and water. Rabbi Ben Shushan has a great piece that he talks about, who eats matzah, either somebody who's depressed and miserable, or somebody who is too busy living life to even pay attention to the food that he eats. So the way that a person eats matzah can really be, you can both eat matzah, but the experience can be totally different, not connected to AirPods. But matzah can really symbolize that. It's just the poor man's bread. It stands for lack of physicality. Wow. It stands for what? It stands for not having, riches and not having glamour and guts and all the physicality, all the I want to be comfortable in life. And what people really mean comfortable means like I want to have a ton of money to buy a lot of fancy stuff. Materialism. The matzah you can look at and say, right, that the matzah frees me from this is the way a person should live. Simple. I'm spending my life pursuing godliness and pursuing the things that really matter and really important in life, and all the glitz and the glamour and the glory really shouldn't be the focus of my life entirely. And then we start to talk about manishtana, where the little kid gets up on the chair, and David comes and he sends it in Spanish, and then Talia says it in Yiddish, and we sing manishtana halay razeh. And what's very interesting about asking these 4 questions is you'll notice there really isn't any answers. There's no answers, right? There's no one who comes like, well, all the nights we dip, and tonight we dip twice, but why? You never actually addressed why, like what's going on over here. Now, ultimately, right, the reason why Manishtana is there is to set the tone of asking questions. We're just promoting people to ask questions. These questions, right, the answers aren't even important because it's missing the point entirely, right? the question when it's in question form, it's almost in a state of infinite. And then when you provide an answer, it's sort of it concretes and brings it finite, brings it down. We want to set the tone of asking questions. And obviously there's going to be answers, but Manishtana is setting the stage to say, asking questions is really the ikar. Asking questions is what's really, really, really important to get us started for. After Manishtana, we move into Avadim Ayinu, B'Power B'Mitzrayim. Right? If we were not free, then we would still be there. The story of the 5 rabbis, which is really cool. We say that if we weren't freed from Egypt, we have to imagine ourselves as being free, because if we were not free then, to this very day, we would still be slaves in Egypt. Nothing would have freed us from Egypt if not for Hashem himself, right? And we are the children of our ancestors. We are free only because of Hashem. And this is one of the times where the glass is raised and you're sort of celebrating the fact that we are free and we are God's people. Then they brings a very cute story. You'll see it's the Masa Rabbi Eliezer. It was a story of Rabbi Eliezer who was sitting with his students, and they were so immersed in the conversation of Pesach night that their students came and said, hey, it's the morning, you have to say Shema for Shacharis. So, again, setting the stage of what it should be like. Sit down, come up with powerful questions, and really just sit there sipping on wine. Let it be philosophy hour. Ask the difficult questions of Judaism. Why are we celebrating God taking us out of Egypt when he put us there in the first place? It's a good question, right? Egypt's supposed to stand as the foundation of Emunah for all of time and history, right? It's an incredible experience. When you get on, you're on an NCSY Shabbaton and you get into a very deep conversation with an advisor or something. Now you're doing it at the Seder table. You got nowhere else to be. You're sipping on wine. It is an awesome experience. Come up with good questions to invoke conversations amongst your family. Get people involved. Come up with a cool little shtick, a little game. At my house on Shabbos, we have that little dice that we spread around the table to provide conversation. Do something that's going to prepare people to ask questions, to challenge them, to really push the bar, get into conversations. Why? Because when you have DMCs about Judaism collectively at the table and you mix in a little bit of wine, it becomes a beautiful experience. And the Masib de Rabbi Eliezer of that story is that the rabbis sat down and they were so immersed in the story of Egypt that they didn't even realize it was the next morning. Baruch HaMakam Baruch Hu, we go into the 4 sons. The 4 sons, who are the 4 sons and what were they? First one was the wise son. The next is the
dumb one. The one that
not the
doesn't
dumb
know
one.
the money.
Not yet. Nope. After wise is
The
wicked.
Yeah.
The Russia. The Russia is the second one. The third one is the Tom, the simple son. The simple one, the one who goes,
That's what I meant.
what's this? Yep. And the fourth one is the one that doesn't even know to ask.
Yeah.
Little Yitzi.
Also him.
And David, who's sitting there going, mate, what's happening here? Right?
No,
Shame
David's
Yodei
the wise
L'Israel.
one.
They doesn't know even to ask. Now, these are the 4 different approaches, the 4 different types of chinuch, of education to bring to a person. But 2 points I want to highlight about the 4 sons. Two ideas that I like a lot. One is, who's the best son? Remember I said we'll come back to this. Who's the best one?
Oh, wise.
The wise one. Everybody, when they say, all right, who wants to read? I want to do the wise one
He
because it's the
gets
best
all
one.
A's in school.
Always in school. What a bright boy.
He's
Now,
on the soccer team.
no. Who do you think the rabbis say is the most praiseworthy son?
The simple one.
Very good. Why is that?
Yeah,
Because-
It's not the wise one. Because what?
you ask questions.
They all ask. The wise person also asked the question.
Because
I don't know.
So if you look at the breakdown, the approach of how they ask their questions, the wise son comes along and he says,
he's
what
wise.
are these? He goes, Chacham Ma'u Omer. What does he say? Ma'u Eidos v'achukim ha'mishpatim. What are the laws? What are these chukim asher tziva Hashem that Hashem commanded us? Elokim eschem. What are all these things? And how do you respond to him? You say to him, V'yafata Omer lo, kihilchos haPesach ein misapirin achar haPesach afikoman. You explain to him, you break him down. He's asking good questions. What are all these things that we're doing? What are the laws? What are the, what is the Korban Pesach? And he's all coming from his intellectual standpoint. And you come and you have to explain it to him. You have to break it down for him. You got to play the intellectual game, right? Then comes along the Russia, the wicked son, and he goes, what is this stuff that you are doing? You, not me. He's excluding himself from the pack. He's saying, it's like those Jews that go, you keep Shabbos, right? You've excluded yourself. Little do you know that you are also commanded to keep Shabbos, and Shabbos is a gift to you as well, but you're excluding yourself. You're belittling what's going on, removing yourself. And how do we respond to him? We break his teeth. We go, God took us out and not you. God will redeem us and not you.
You don't actually
Right? You
break
approach.
his teeth.
No, it's a It's a metaphor for, when you break someone's teeth, as in like you stick it to them. You go after them verbally, and you stuck them up. Right, that's how you treat a wicked person. And I listen. I do this also. If I'm in a JSU class or someone comes along and they're asking questions in a very aggressive way with the underlying tone of trying to belittle Judaism, I belittle them. You break their teeth. You meet them eye for an eye with that. When you think Judaism's stupid, I'm going to show you how your life is stupid. Right, and then once you've humbled yourself, now we can start fresh from a place of growth and learning and education. Then comes the simple son. Now, why do you think the rabbis say that the simple son is the one who's the most praiseworthy?
Because he wants to learn and know, and he wants to grow and everything.
We should strive to be simple Jews,
Yeah.
which means that I try to do the best that I can, but I don't come in with a sense of arrogance. I don't come in with a sense of I know it all and I'm this, I'm that. I come in simply, and I'm just like, I'm here, and this is what I know. So when I share, it's not about me. It's about it's someone who just has a thirst for knowledge and just wants to understand. To be a simple person means that you can be the most fancy schmancy rabbi, CEO, philanthropist, the coolest, and when someone asks you what you're all about, it should be very simple. I just try to do the best I can every day. God gave me talents and abilities, and therefore you see all the things that I've accomplished. But really, in my, we're learning about humility, right? With in Igeres Rambam, what does it mean? It's Baruch Hashem. It's all about God. It's not about me. Yeah, I'm able to accomplish a lot, but it's not because of me. It's because of God. And I'm just doing the best that I can. I should be a simple kind of man. Did I just age myself? Did I? Does anyone know that song?
No, I just thought
Be something. It's a good song.
You
Anyway.
definitely tried. You definitely did sing. So.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know if it was, but you definitely.
I was born in 19. The last son is the one that doesn't know, and that's obviously those are the JSU students. So you have to go to their school and tell them you are a Jew, you're special. There's something cool going on over here. Okay, so that is the Chap of the four sons, and the Lubavitch of art that I like to share is what about the fifth son? Where's the fifth son? He's not even at the Pesach Seder. There's so many Jews who are not at Pesach Seders, and we have to do all that we can to help our fellow Jews, to give them the opportunity to celebrate their identity in their Judaism. The ones who are so far removed from Judaism that they have no idea that they're missing out, while not all, but the majority of Jews are sitting down to celebrate that we are awesome in our relationship with God and what we stand for in this world, everything that makes us beautiful. There are Jews out there literally just having a regular Saturday night. They have no idea what's going on. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. And if we can do something about it, we absolutely should help out our brothers and sisters. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. It continues more. There's a lot of really cool stuff here, but I think we'll stop here, just because it's 8:15, and maybe next week maybe we could do a Zoom thing if you guys are interested in continuing. But the takeaway is Sarah bathing Itzy?
Okay.
Does she want to come out and share anything?
Thought you were going home tonight.
The takeaway that I really want to leave you guys with is exactly how we started. Guys, next week is crucial. It's crucial. The way that you go about your next week is going to define what your Pesach Seder is like. Whether it's a euphoric experience, whether it's a time of connection and celebration, where you stop and just go, oh my God, being a Jew is awesome. This is the coolest thing ever. That will happen if you prepare properly. One day a week, designate a task in preparation. And while you're preparing, prepare for the time that is leading up to the Pesach Seder. So that when you sit down there, there's anticipation. You can say, I've been waiting all week for this. Get your pillow and put it on the left side. Right? Women can lean too. They're not required to, but you can lean as well. Why? Because we're kings. We're aristocrats. We lean to the left. We party and we chill. And we're saying we are God's holy people. Okay? Prepare this week. One of the days of the week, sit down, get a Haggadah with commentary. Go buy a book. If you don't have one, there is probably more commentary written on the Pesach Haggadah than any other topic in Judaism, period. I think there are more books on Pesach, on the, really, commentaries, I think ever. Spend one day a week reading the commentary, reviewing it, preparing yourself properly, so that you have a very powerful and enjoyable Pesach experience.
Ooh, bro,
I asked my wife, who is a teacher in a very fancy high school, to also share a quick word,
2 minutes.
2 minutes, to get us ready for Pesach next week.
No,
I'm
it's
so.
not Pesach.
It's not Pesach. Never mind.
Who was this week's Parsha?
Abby, really don't communicate.
Get it right, Albie.
I asked for Pesach. Yeah, Parsha's
Oh,
cool.
you did?
No, it's good.
Okay, so if you look
Connie and Hannah, thank you guys for being here. The food was
being a
delicious.
verse, if you look at the verse,
Thank you so much.
Parsha. Parsha means Torah portion, like the one that we read on Saturday.
Winglets.
If you look at the letters, what seems weird about the what seems weird about the word, the first word? Not the Hebrew. Like look at the way. Look at this word in
Because it has
comparison.
like
In comparison to
star.
the other ones. What's
Oh.
one defining difference?
The star and then right.